All right. So, to give a brief background to our discussion on governance, it's mainly about organizational failures and issues. So, this is not new when we talk about organizational failures and governance issue. So, within the sports setting, it dates back in the 1980s. There were organizational failures in the UK. And it resulted in what we call the Cadbury Committee report in the 1993. So they submitted this report, and this is what has led into the current sport governance that we see in 2016 as the UK Code for Sport Governance. Also in Australia, there used to be organizational failures within sport. And so the Hillman report also documented organizational practices and the way forward within our sports setting in Australia. Similarly, in 1997, there was the Day Committee report as well that also led into reforms in organizational efficiencies and effectiveness in Toronto. Then we also see a report from the Australian Commission of Sport and Recreation submitting to the Standing Committee in Parliament. This was way back in 1997. So these are some of the issues that have preceded organizational failures. But what happened? There was a government intervention in all of these. And so now we are happy to have our minister here. The government should step in to have a legislation or to develop governance codes for our sport going forward. So based on this, it resulted in the 2004 and the recent UK Code for Sport Governance, as well as in South Africa, who also developed a governance code. Therefore, there's the need for a national sport governance code to be developed with a stakeholder engagement across all sport organizations to be able to help in the organizational reforms, the inefficiencies and ineffectiveness that we see today. If you reflect on what Tom presented, funding may not be a problem, but hinging on organizational inefficiencies and internal structures, when they are not appropriately put together, it results in funding issue. And so there's the need to put up together a national governance code that will really help in governance issue.